Okay, my name is Nick Casa, and I'm a developer advocate for IBM. So thanks for being here. This is my first PyData. Having a good time. I really liked especially how plant-based everything was. That was super cool. So thanks for having me. Thanks for having IBM as a sponsor in the IBM data science community. I'm a developer advocate for them, as I mentioned, and I specialize in helping out enterprise machine learning developers. Is really my go-to area, the people that I help most often. And what they experience and what I've experienced myself, especially working in a large organization and working in the field of data science, is you'll often get a department that you really have no contact with or haven't really talked to them before will find out that you do machine learning and hand you a spreadsheet and say, data science this and tell me something that I don't know about it. So is this something that's happened to you all before? Yeah, so it's something that I've experienced. So I got into this habit a couple jobs ago where I would get one of those spreadsheets and, without even opening an Excel, looking at it, I would pump it into Python, get it ready for TensorFlow, and sometimes even start running models before I even knew what it was, what the data was in it, like what the column names were and things like that, just because it happened so often. So what I also found is if you're doing something as very broad as getting a spreadsheet into Python, with Python it being so dynamic, there's dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of ways to do this task, right? So I always found myself, even though I knew a couple ways to do this, I would always do it one way. I would always, use this one library to get it in and then use another library to get my data ready for TensorFlow, things like that. So I wanted to see if I was doing so the best way. So that's what I'm going to show here really quickly is a preview of that work. So this is a talk that I've been developing to give at an upcoming conference called TensorFlow World. So I wanted to give a quick preview of that, of what I'm going to be doing in some of that work. So we can see it starts by importing some libraries with a O. So I'll import CSV if I'm going to be using the spreadsheet to get it into Python, and I'll be doing so in a number of different ways. Import timeit is a library to time things. And then I'll use NumPy as well as pandas. Oh, thank you. My microphone was in the way. Okay, so I've got these in, and now in this next cell, I'm going to take an applause break for loading libraries. Thank you. Thank you. And then I have the file name, which is kind of irrelevant. But, so now I have a CSV file. I want to bring it into Python. There's a number of different ways to do so. I can do so just using pure Python and get, a list of lists. Everyone's favorite. It's very easy to do here. Very dynamic, easy to work with and process in my own way. So I do that. I'm splitting lines here for each line in my file. And then I've got a list of lists, right? Not doing anything crazy here. I can see some of that information that's in my spreadsheet again, getting that string, a list of lists here, so I can kind of manipulate that into anything that I want. So that's why I like using just Python. But I imported some libraries, right? Give it up one more time for libraries. Yeah. So I use the CSV library, so we can see loading in a CSV using that. You do CSV reader, right? We all know that one. And you open up the file. This file that I have, it has a weird delimiter. It's not using commas, it's using semicolons. What was that? Oh, equals. And then I can take a look at this one, except I can't, right? So the CSV library has its own object format. So I can't take a look at it first. We can take a look at that type. as a CSV reader, whereas up above I had a Python list. Right, so I have to cast that to a list to be able to use it with anything or use it with TensorFlow. So it's one of the reasons why CSV can be a little bit out of the ordinary. I can do the same thing again here with pandas. Am I running short on time here?
We run out of time.
Oh, okay. So I do the same thing with pandas, and I have those operations here. You can see, and then I go ahead and time all the things. But that's what I'll be doing on all of that and more at TensorFlow World. So thank you. And if you have anything that you would want to see, come find me before I head off to the airport. But again, thanks for having me. Thanks for coming to PyBay. Yeah, I appreciate it.